Alright, Shalom. All praise the Yahweh Shemel Shah, the blind positive GMS. My name is Amna Allah, coming at you in this video. In this video, I'm going to be focusing on the book of Matthew, chapter 12, verse 22. So without further ado, I'm just going to get right into the lesson. Matthew, chapter 12, verse 42. The scripture says, "The queen of the south shall rise up in the judgment with this generation." Now, the queen of the south is talking about the queen of Sheba. Alright? Who was not King Solomon's wife. There's no scripture that supports that. So we don't teach that. Okay? So it says the queen of the south shall rise up in the judgment with the generation. Why did it say the queen of the south? Because the queen of Sheba was located where? In Ethiopia. So when it says the queen of Sheba is located in Ethiopia, which Ethiopia is south of Israel, south of Jerusalem. That's why she's known as the queen of the south. The queen of the south shall rise up in the judgment with the generation and shall condemn it. Now, the queen of Sheba was dead at this time. We don't know if at that particular time she was back in reincarnation or not. We don't know. But Yahweh Shah made this statement saying, the queen of the south shall rise up in the judgment with the generation and shall condemn it. It don't mean the queen of Sheba is going to get up out of the grave and start walking around and start condemning individuals. You had some Rasta that came up to the camp like last year that tried to pull that on us over there on 34th Street. Oh yeah, so the king of Sheba going to get that scripture in Luke, or this scripture in Luke 2, if I'm not mistaken. It says, oh, go to Luke, or go to this scripture, go to that scripture, and get where it says the queen of Sheba going to rise up. She's going to come out the grave and she's going to be condemning people. That's basically what he was saying, which we broke it down to him the right way. He still couldn't get it though. But it says the queen of the south shall rise up in the judgment with this generation and shall condemn it. Why? Why shall she rise up in the judgment with the generation and condemn it? The generation when Yahweh Shah was on the scene. For she came from the uttermost parts of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon. So basically he's saying that the queen of Sheba came from the uttermost parts of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon. That's how she's going to rise up in judgment against that generation, because that particular generation refused to hear the words of Yahweh Shah. Yet the queen of Sheba went from the uttermost parts of the earth to hear the words of Solomon, who was Yahweh Shah. So if she was willing to go and hear the words of Solomon, she's rising up in judgment against that generation because they don't want to hear the words of Yahweh Shah. So she sought wisdom from one that was wise, yet that generation sought wisdom. She did not seek wisdom from one that was wise, which was Yahweh Shah. Therefore, that's a condemnation unto them. It's like it's like you out there in the streets teaching, and one person comes, a heathen comes to hear the word that you're saying, but an Israelite fans their hand at you and don't listen. That heathen basically rising up in judgment against the Israelite. They're seeking to hear wisdom, yet the Israelite isn't. That's what Yahweh Shah is saying. So, because it says, "For she came from the uttermost parts of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon, and behold, a greater than Solomon is here." So Yahweh Shah is saying, one is here that is greater than Solomon, and you refuse to hear my words. Yet the queen of Sheba went from the uttermost parts of the earth to hear the word from Solomon, and I'm greater than Solomon. You don't want to hear me. She's rising up against you in judgment, because that's a condemnation. She sought to hear the wisdom of Solomon, and you don't seek to hear the wisdom of one who's greater than Solomon. Let's go get that. 1 Kings 10:1. And when the queen of Sheba heard the fame of Solomon concerning the name of Yahweh Bashim Shah, she came to prove him with hard questions. So the queen of Sheba heard the fame of Solomon. Look at the word fame. Shammai. Report, hearing. So she heard a hearing of Solomon. She heard a report of Solomon. Something heard, a sound. Something heard, i.e. a sound, rumor, announcement, abstractly, audience, through it, fame, hearing, loud report, speech, tidings. So she heard reports of Solomon's wisdom. So Solomon's wisdom had permeated or spread throughout various parts of the known world during his time. And the queen of Sheba heard the fame of Solomon. Okay? So when the queen of Sheba heard the fame of Solomon, or the Shammai of Solomon, the report of Solomon concerning the name of the Lord, she came to prove him with hard questions. She came all the way from Sheba all the way from Ethiopia to the land of Israel to prove Solomon with hard question. Look at that word prove. Nakha. And it says to test, try, prove, tempt, assay, put to proof or test, to test, try. To attempt, assay, try, to test, try, prove, tempt. In other words, what did she seek to do? She sought to test Solomon, to prove Solomon, to prove if Solomon was worthy of the report that she heard. In other words, to prove if Solomon was really as wise as she heard he was. Okay? But how did she test him? How did she prove him? It says, and when the queen of Sheba heard the fame of Solomon concerning the name of Yahweh Bashmel Shah, she came to prove him with hard questions. So she heard of the fame of King Solomon, and she came to prove Solomon with hard questions. She went all the way from Sheba, all the way to the land of Israel, to ask Solomon hard questions, to see if Solomon was truly worthy of that report concerning the name of the Lord, proving that he was really a man of God, if he had that great wisdom given to him by God, but given to him by the Most High, which Solomon was known for, that wisdom. Look at that word, questions, the word there is chayada, and it says puzzle, hint, a trick, conundrum, sententious, maxim, dark saying, sentence, speech, hard question, proverb, riddle. And it says riddle, difficult question, parable, enigmatic saying or question, perplexing saying or question, riddle, dark, obscure utterance, riddle, enigma to be guessed, perplexing questions, double dealing with having. So basically, she went and she asked Solomon difficult questions, perplexing questions. She could have been asking him questions about space. She could have been asking him questions about, like outer space, the sun, the moon, nature, life, death, and various other things. So she asked him many hard questions. Okay? So this woman, who was not an Israelite, sought to hear the wisdom of Solomon. Read on. And she came to Jerusalem with a very great train. Meaning what? With camels. She had, look at the word train. Khayal. And it says strength, might, efficiency, wealth, army. Strength, ability, efficiency, wealth, force, army. So she came with a great company. In other words, a force. See? It says band of men, company, forces, host, so on and so forth. So she came with a great company. Okay? So it says, and she came to Jerusalem with a very great train, with camels that bear spices and very much gold and precious stones. And when she was come to Solomon, she communed with him of all that was in her heart. So all of the questions she had in her mind that she wanted to answer, she asked Solomon. She communed with him. She discussed with him. And Solomon told her all questions. There was not anything hid from the king which he told her not. So Solomon answered all her questions. There was nothing that Solomon hid from her. All the questions that she asked, she had answered. Now there's other thing that I could get. Let's see. I'll read a little more. And it says, and Solomon told her, I read that verse 4, and when the queen of Sheba had seen all Solomon's wisdom and the house that he had built, and the meat of his table, and the sitting of his servants, and the attendance of his ministers, and their apparel, and his cupbearers, and his ascent, by which he went up unto the house of Yahweh Bashmel Shah, there was no more spirit in her. So she basically fell out. Basically like passed out, She was astonished when she saw the attendance of his ministers, all of his servants. She saw their apparel. She saw his cupbearers. Verse 6, and she said to the king, it was a true report that I heard in mine own land of that action of that wisdom. So it was a true report, everything that she heard regarding King Solomon, all his wisdom. Howbeit I believed not the words until I came and my eyes had seen. She said I didn't believe it at first until I came and saw my own eyes in the words. And behold, the half was not told me. So she basically, since she was saying all of the great wisdom that she heard from Solomon, all the great wisdom that she heard of Solomon from other individuals, it was like she didn't know the half of it, basically. Which all of the great things that you heard of Solomon isn't even half of how great he really was. It's like you hear a guy, like hearing Michael Jordan, the great basketball player. He can do this, he can do that, he can do all these different things. But then when you finally see him in person, you're like, yo, man, the thing that they told me, the greatness that they told me he had, wasn't even half as great as he really was when I seen him. In other words, Solomon was far superior than his own reputation. The half has not told me that wisdom and prosperity exceeded the fame which I heard. Happy are thy men, happy are these thy servants, which stand continually before thee, and that hear thy wisdom. Okay? That's the main point I'm going to get there. So she went from the uttermost part of the earth to hear the word of Solomon. Yet Yahweh Shah is in the scene, who's greater than Solomon, and the people seek not to hear. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 7. Okay, let's start from verse 1 Peter 2, where let's start from verse 6. Wherefore also what is contained in the scripture, behold, I lay in Zion the chief cornerstone, elect, precious, and he that believeth him shall not be confounded. That cornerstone is about Yahweh Shah. Okay, that cornerstone is that first building that first stone that's laid down in the construction of the foundation of a building. And that stone represents Yahweh Shah. Yahweh Shah is that stone. And we're lively stones. Okay? We're lively stones. It tells you that in verse 5. Alright, so when I read it through to the interest of time. Verse 7. Unto you, therefore, and whoever believes shall not be confounded. You're not going to be confounded if you believe in Yahweh Shah. Unto you, therefore, which believe he is precious, but unto them which be disobedient, the stone which the builders disallowed, the same was made the head of the corner. So the same stone that the builders rejected was the same stone that was the head of the corner. The same stone that's the foundation of the truth, which is Yahweh Shah. Those builders represent the Pharisees, those wicked Pharisees, those wicked chief priests, and various other Israelites that rejected Yahweh Shah. And a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense. So Yahweh Shah is not only a cornerstone, he's a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense. In other words, he's like a rock that's set in your path. An obstacle that's put forth in the way. An obstacle that's put forth in your way that causes you to stumble over it. It's like walking down the street and the stone is being there, you don't see it. Your foot dashes against that stone, you lose your balance and you fall. So Yahweh Shah is likened unto a stumbling block, a stumbling stone. Okay, because they couldn't get the fact that Yahweh Shah was the Son of the Most High. And that you were not justified by works of the law, but justified by faith in Yahweh Shah. They couldn't receive that. Many of them couldn't receive that. And a stone of stumbling, a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word, which word being disobedient, or unto also they were appointed. So they was appointed to be disobedient. They was appointed to not be able to get the truth. Those that would stumble at Yahweh Shah. Stumble at that stumbling stone. This is Acts chapter 4, verse 10. This is Peter speaking. I'm starting verse 10 because I'm starting verse 10. I'm starting verse 8. Acts 4 and 8. Then Peter, filled with the Holy Spirit, said unto them, Ye rulers of the people and elders of Israel, if we this day be examined of the good deed done to the impotent man, by what means he is whole, because if we had a man that was impotent, right? A man that was impotent, he was handicapped, in other words, disabled, and he was healed. So Peter is saying, if we this day be examined by the good deed done to the impotent man, by what means he is made whole, being known to you all and to all the people of Israel that by the name of Yahweh Shah of Nazareth, whom you crucified, whom the Most High raised from the dead, even by him doeth this man stand here before you whole. So in other words, Yahweh Shah was the one that was conducting these miracles through Peter and through his various other disciples and various other apostles and men of the Lord. So he said, if we examine because of this good deed done unto this man, take into account the fact that it was in the name of Yahweh Shah that this man was healed. Verse 11. This is the stone which was set at naught of you builders, which become the head of the corner, referring to Yahweh Shah. Neither is there salvation in any other, for there is none other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved. Okay? So basically, you had the children of Israel that rejected Yahweh Shah. Though to come into go back to Matthew 12:42. Matthew 12:42. It says, the queen of the south shall rise. It says the queen of the south shall rise up in the judgment with this generation and shall condemn it. That's talking about the queen of Sheba. She was the queen of the south. Why? Because she was the queen of Sheba, located in Ethiopia, which is south of Israel. She shall rise up in judgment with this generation and shall condemn it. Why? For she came from the uttermost parts of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon. She gonna rise up in judgment with this generation and condemn it, because she came from the uttermost parts of the earth to hear the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of King Solomon. Yet, and behold, a greater than Solomon is here. Yet one that's greater than Solomon is here, which is Yahweh Shai, and they refuse to hear his words. So that's like the Queen of Sheba rising up and condemning him. She sought to hear the word from King Solomon, but one greater than Solomon is here, and you refuse to hear his word. And Queen of Sheba, the Queen of Sheba, she was a heathen. And yet Israel refused to hear Yahweh Shai, and he's greater than Solomon. But the heathen sought to hear King Solomon, yet the children of Israel refused to hear one greater than Solomon, which is Yahweh Shai. So with that, I'm going to close and say, all praise to Yahweh Shai, Bashem Kakwadash. All brothers learn something, Shalom.